Tomy Shaw, and here today I want to be talking about on my channel is why location is so important. Okay, why I put a lot of emphasis on location is because sometimes some people will look at the numbers, they're gonna see, hey, I'm getting this building at a 15% return, but it's in a location that has no chance of increasing in value, or you're gonna attract bad tenants. So this is why I want to look at, okay, numbers are important, but location is just as important. You don't want to overpay and you don't want to underpay, because the market is telling you that when you're buying something undervalued, the market is telling you it doesn't anticipate any increase in the future. There is essentially no hope in the future for that building to appreciate in value and to go even lower in value. This is why it is very important to look at the middle. You don't want something when the market is giving you a 7% return and you find this deal that's giving you 15%. Well, I would be very careful in which deals you would choose, because a 15% return on a real estate property when the overall market is at 7%, it's essentially telling you that it's gonna keep on going worse. The sector is going worse, the location is going worse. That like if you're buying something in an environment where people are losing their jobs, well, there's a good chance that real estate will continue to go lower. So that's why I'm telling you, when you want to buy something, location is very important, because it will give you a good chance that that market will go higher. And how do you determine location? Well, if in your neighborhood people are getting better jobs, are getting better raises, and the overall market is getting better, that is a good location. Now, the second step, once you know that you have a good location, like if you know that you're beside a highway, that's not a good location. People don't want to live in front of a highway seeing cars go 110 kilometers an hour or 65, 70 miles an hour. That makes a lot of noise. So that is not a good location. And another thing is that people look at land as land. No, if it's close to grocery stores, nightlife, or something that you could get close to your job, you save 20 minutes a day, that increases the value of your land, of the location where you live at. And one thing you have to remember is that in time, real estate, the property tends to lose value in time, but the land adds value. So at first, 80% of the property's value is your property. And then at the end of 100 years, what is worth the most is the land value. 80% of the value in 100 years will be due to the appreciation of the land you're on. So I really want you guys to understand this, and then you can do the calculations of, okay, the market is giving an overall 7% return, and you're getting a real estate just a little bit above that, a 7.5%. You know that you have a deal because it's in a good location, and you're having a margin of safety because you're buying below the overall market. You know that if you buy 10% below market, you have that margin of safety. If that property loses 10%, you have zero loss. You're at, well, you have the equity loss that you bought. No, not really. You have that 0% of equity added towards the front end of buying that property, but you have nothing lost. But if you're buying at 110%, or saying 10% above the overall market, and the market goes down 10%, you just lost 20% and pretty much all of your equity that you put up front in that property. So hopefully that this makes a little bit more sense on why location is so important, because I see people wanting to buy real estate cash and get that 15% and they're bragging about the 15%, but they're unable to get the tenants to pay. They're unable to rent it. Okay, maybe you have a deal on paper, but is it really a deal? So this is why a lot of people talk about location. And every time you buy something, you gotta think about the location, and you also have to think about the price you're buying something. And like before you can buy a deal, I've looked at 100 properties. I was looking on the market 100 properties before I could find something that I considered a deal. You have to put a lot of time up front. It's the same in anything. Exponential growth grows over time. You have to put a lot of time up front, and then it pays for the rest of your life. But every time you put a lot of work up front, and you do your due diligence, in the future it will bring you a lot of fruits. So yeah, exactly. I'm gonna finish up with this, and if you guys have any comments you'd like me to go into more details, or you find this interesting, or you've seen somebody that did the same, is bragging about he's bragging about his returns, but he's in a crappy location, just leave comments down below and I'll be happy to respond. And if you know anybody that can benefit from this information, just share and subscribe if you want to be the first one to see the video, to be in front of the new content. I'll be posting pretty much every day except for weekends, because I have a family, I have 2 kids, I have a wife, and on the weekends it's a little bit harder for me to create and work. But I'll try to be present, and I'll be listening. Like if you guys have any comments on the volume is not high enough, or where you want me to film in my house, just leave comments on anything. I am willing to listen. Thank you.